Good morning and welcome to today's edition of the London Session Open. It's October 21st, 2019, then it's 7:35 a.m. in London when I'm doing this market update. Let's take a look at the markets. Of course, can talk about the pound and the euro and stock markets as well. So we got this very strong change in sort of the way the market has been behaving. You got some very significant gains here in the euro over the last few weeks. From the low, the market at one point rose by 306 pip. Very strong. RSI has now hit overbought, and it's looking really good. Now the reason, not looking very good, but has been good. The reason for the very strong uptrend, as you know, is just that people, I guess, they've been long dollars and short pounds. And what's happening here, I think, is just that because of, it pretty much looks like a no deal Brexit has been averted. I think that the risk premium in the pound has dropped. And that's why a lot of people have been selling pounds or buying pounds that they sold to begin with. That has lifted everything in the Euro USD. Now what I've done here today is I lifted the trend funding level. As you can see, very strong uptrend. And I've been looking to buy dips, and the last very good setup was here. But I have been bullish since the break here on October 2nd. We talked about this market going upwards, and then again looked about buying here. Looking at this today, the market is going very strong. And as you know, I've been looking to buy pullback, but we haven't had that. The market just goes up, reaches a new level, has a tiny pullback, and then goes up, trades sideways, and then goes up. So this is not your typical market. So as you can probably guess, if you did buy down here or before, people that are long still, they're probably looking to book a bit of profit on this. Looking at this today, the trend is bullish about 110.99. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing this higher and higher towards your trend finding low. This is the new level here. Just because we break this is not necessarily going to mean that the market will collapse lower, but it definitely means that the momentum here starting to decline. Now looking at this going forward now, again, this will be my trend finding level. I think if we do go down to 111.32, some people might buy a bit, but I wouldn't get too aggressively here. If you are long, as I said, this is not a bad spot to book profits. Then wait for a pullback. Here's the pound versus the USD, and this market as well. I've been looking for a pullback, but we haven't really had that opportunity. So let me see here, about 182 pip off. Then we can probably increase this a tiny bit to something like 127.26, and I think we can just do it like that and see what happens. This is again, what's going to happen here next, by the way. So what's going to happen here is that the EU has now received a request for an extension, but the EU is waiting for a vote on the latest deal. That's going to happen on Tuesday, as far as I understand. And if that gets rejected, they're probably going to push for an extension. Right now, they're just waiting for that. Going forward here, again, a little dip wouldn't be bad, and some people might look to buy here. But I think from a Brexit sort of point of view, we're going to probably hit the climax here. I mean, I would reckon. I mean, even if we get a deal, a bit of profit taking would not be bad, just because technically you can see here, it's not like a secret how fast this market has risen, and we need a bit of profit taking. That would not surprise me at all. And then we'll just see what happens. Dollar versus the Japanese yen, very easy here. Same outlook I've been sharing with you guys over the last few days. I think people are going to be buying between 108.50 and 108. Nothing changed. I think we can potentially go slightly upwards. That's at least what the trend is telling us. Obviously, the longer time we spend here, this is starting to look more like a weird head and shoulders with a head left and maybe some right shoulder being created here. And then at one point, people might be able to put trend lines like that and just sell. It's a triangle then if it's not head and shoulders. So, but I wouldn't care too much about that. Like short-term patterns like this don't really matter too much in the face of normal horizontal support and resistance. I focus a lot on those patterns, but when they're much more mature. Let's take a look here at US oil. So this is West Texas. So the idea has been to buy down here for the last few days. Not much has happened. We got that entry level. I think it's too early to reduce stops. You can reduce if you wanted to down here at 52.36, but that would be just to reduce your risk, and then it's more of a gamble where you say, okay, you know, I've been holding this for some time and it's not really going anywhere. I don't want to put too much risk or too much money, and that's why I want to reduce my stop loss and put it down here. So that could be one tactic. Otherwise, in the big picture, technically nothing has really changed. The trend remains bullish by 51.34, and this is the level where you're not too close to price action, because if you do put the stop loss here again, it can spike down here, and then people didn't buy it first time, they're gonna buy now on that slide. Fortunately, you could be stopped out in the process. All right, this is gold prices. The gold prices, you know, the volatility we saw here has been replaced and moved over to the Euro USD. It's not too much activity here, and it's interesting to see how, you know, volatility goes from one market to another and so on, and that's why I like to jump around a lot. I don't stick just with one market. And here, you know, the market again remains bearish below 1519, and I think maybe people might sell around 1506 with stops just above. If we take it out, they'll probably go up, down, and then probably upwards. S&P 500, the idea was to buy on a dip here. Fortunately, we missed that little buy area with a tiny bit, unfortunately. I'm gonna lift this now a bit and just do like that. Let's take a look at 4 hours. Well, now that I think this is sufficient. So we lifted that. Unfortunately, we missed that little buy spot with a tiny bit. Now this is interesting. German DAX. German DAX had a very good run. So very good run. Very close to overbought on the daily RSI. And this is a market that it goes up a lot, goes down a lot, goes up a lot, goes down a lot. So it's not a trending market. And, you know, even the S&P 500 is still capped by that major high, isn't it? It is. It's stuck here, and we need to break above it. So this, in the S&P, as long as we cap by something like 3029, we could easily go down. And it's the same thing in the German DAX. I do know we're not capped by that high as much, but we haven't necessarily moved away from it, right? And looking at this chart, it's no secret that you had a good few days. And again, it's no secret in 2016, the market is just 2019, I mean, the markets are not really that good for breakouts. Here, for example, we had a break to prior high, did not work out because we eventually went back down. And you have a ton of this, especially in the Euro USD. So this as well as a bearish candle, pin bar on October 17th. Doji, I think it's called as well. And let's see if we can get that. There we go. So there's a few strategies. You don't have to sell if you don't want to. But my idea has been that below this level, the market is probably going to crack lower. You'll see a bit of profit taking. And then what I've been saying here is that around this level, which is 12,697, I think and a half, I think we were going to sell. We touched this level 2 times on Friday. And I think we can probably go down maybe to the first fib. If not, maybe all the way down to the 50 fib. If I'm totally wrong, what's going to happen here is that this whole thing here, so 1, 2, 3, 4 days here, those 4 days is going to be the stop level for a break here, and we'll go up and go down, and then we could potentially hit and reach the next support level or resistance level, which is up here at 13,182. And that, guys, concludes today's market update. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're new to this. As well, don't forget to follow me on AlexFX00. Have a great day. Thank you, and bye-bye.